Ever wanted to learn more about the people behind the speedruns? Right here. It's this one. My Insane Pace.
My Insane Pace podcast, ALT Insider here, coming at you with another episode of Speedrunning Goodness. Yes, it is another bonus show. Yes, that means there's no interview show this week. Had a lot of bad luck with guests in the last few weeks, guys. A lot of reschedules, a lot of no answers, a lot of, hey, sure, I'll be on the show, and then no answers. That's what happens. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just a part of having a podcast and having a smaller podcast, a newer podcast still, that people, sometimes things fall through, so they don't happen. So that's what we got to deal with, right? So there's no show this week, but I thought, hey, this is a perfect time to throw another bonus show. I have not updated any of you, except if you're on the Discord server, of course I have been updating. But if you haven't, not on the Discord server hotness yet, I haven't updated anything about my insane idea in the last 4 months. So I figured it was a good time to do that. Before we get to that, though, I want to say, if you haven't checked out our last episode, it was a bonus episode with Duke Bilgewater and Green Sea Zaber. We laid out our predictions for the now released, if this is released on time, the now released GDQ schedule. So yeah, check that out. It's pretty good. It was a pretty fun episode, I think. Definitely want to do more of those kind of fun discussion things about things. It's kind of a cool episode. It was a cool episode to record, and it was fun for me. So hopefully it was fun for you to listen. And now we will see how stupid we sound or whatever. But I'm recording this early, so I don't have the results yet. So I can't tell you that. But so here we go. Another bonus show. I think, though, if you have two bonus shows in 1 week, it equals one real show, right? So there you go. This is a real show, a bonus show that creates the two parts together. We have a real show here. Next week, though, it's already scheduled, unless they get rescheduled, of course, which is a possibility. I have a sweet guest next week, so I won't spoil the name or anything because it might not happen. But right now, I have a sweet guest ready, so there you go. So updates on my insane idea. So we are talking since these. I think it's easier to start from the beginning, right? So, this start from the very beginning of the My Insane Idea genesis, the what it is, what's happening since then, and where we are at this point. So, on December 13th, 2017, I had a whole bonus episode about My Insane Idea, what exactly it is. If you're new, this is your first episode. You could, of course, listen to the episode, but I'm guessing you want to hear a rundown first. So, I envisioned a live speedrunning tournament. Where let's say 3 or 4 games, and we choose two invitees that we kind of choose to come to the event to race, and then we choose the other 2 runners are from the number 1 and 2 spot on speedrun.com that we kind of choose a date. Let's say the event's going to be December 31st. We might say the first and 2 runners on November 1st are going to get the invite. We pay for airfare, pay for their hotel. There's no reason for them not to come, even if they're the biggest name in the speedrunning world or in Twitch world. Now, what makes this event different is there will be cash prize. So if you win a first prize, it's maybe $5,000, maybe it's $10,000, whatever it is. And all of these games will be kind of, at least to start out, they'll be pretty big games, so the hype will be there. The hype will be real. We'll have production values of, people coming out to music, the spotlight, all this kind of stuff, of top-level commentary. Obviously it'll be, it's not for charity or anything. It's just charity's awesome, but this will be more about the top-level speedrunnings going out for a real prize of real money. That will be pretty exciting, I thought. So that's basically it. It's not some groundbreaking idea, by the way. I'll make sure that's clear. It's not like I'm reinventing the wheel of speedrunning. I'm making this event that's no one ever thought of. It's just one way to go about having competitive speedrunning. I don't want to say like it's an esport or anything like that because it's such a dirty word, but it is making speedrunning into more of a competitive thing, and I think would be good. In addition to the already awesome events on the calendar that are made for charity, I want to have something else that's this is a competition where people can strive to be a part of. Someone sitting there in their basement saying, I love speedrunning, and man, I want to be like whoever it is on that stage that was at the last My Insane Idea tournament. I want to walk up to that stage with a spotlight on me and have a chance to run the game and win a lot of money at it. So that's my basic thinking about My Insane Idea. If you want more details, of course, check out the episode. I'll link it in the show notes page. Then after that first announcement of the idea, I talked to Edenal at length on Discord about it. Eventually I said, okay, Edenal, why don't you just come on the show? We'll talk about it on the show. And he is if you didn't know, the organizer of ESA, and he shared a lot of knowledge about why it would be difficult to do, why it sounds easy to do, sounds easy enough, but there'd be a lot of hurdles that would have to go through to make this happen, right? But he was positive about it in the end. He did say, it's possible. If you make it happen, it's possible. Anything's possible, I guess. But he definitely was always been a nice helping hand for this for sure. I can't thank him enough. Just full shout outs to Edenall for his guidance and his words of wisdom until now. Because, I'm just a lowly beginning speedrun podcaster, and I laid out a big idea, and he definitely spent the time to talk about it, what I would need to do, and all this kind of stuff. So, shortly after that, I'm still hyped. I really want to make this happen. This is probably late December after I talked to Edenall. And I emailed Sinister One, or actually I contacted him on Facebook, on Discord, said, hey, check out what do you think about this? And he said, well, he emailed me and said, okay, let's talk on here. So I asked him questions about what steps do I go through now if I really want this to happen? What do I need to do? He wrote back me with more questions. He said, these are a list of questions you need to answer before you can even think about putting this event on. And these are kind of questions about fairness, location stuff, time of year, budgets, all these kind of questions that he said you have to have a stone cold kind of answer to these questions before you can make anything like this happen. So I answered those questions. It takes some time to get the answers to those questions. We talk in Discord once, voice chat on Discord to kind of talk about it more, thing like that. So he could see my enthusiasm, and he's really pumped about it. I think he was excited about my enthusiasm was spreading on him, but he still was saying, the ball's in your court, right? This is something you have to do. If you want it to happen, you got to make it happen, yourself. His final kind of advice was reach out to the other events and see what they would have, what kind of they would think about having My Insane Idea as a part of it. And Edenall was someone that suggested this as well. I don't want to say it's just Sinister One's idea, but he said that might be a better way to start it, right? To show proof of concept, to show there's something there. Make a smaller version of My Insane Idea, maybe one game, and have it be a part of an event to fill the dead time, to show, at GDQ, there's a lot of time at 4 a.m. when no one's watching. If you put something like this there, maybe it'll be a good way to kind of pitch it and get the first evolution, as I say, the first iteration of the event out there, and then people can start building a name. My Insane, I'm not saying it's the final name, but My Insane Idea out there to people, and see what they think. See what, if it goes off successfully, it's awesome. Maybe it's a way to grow, a stepping stone, to go to sponsors and say, hey, I did this awesome event at DreamHack. I did this awesome event at GDQ. I did this awesome event at ESA. Maybe you want to be a part of this, something like that, right? So that was what I was working on at that time. And this is already, we're talking early February at that point. Emails, calls take time. So now we're, 2 months since I first announced my idea of this event, and now we're in February, early February. Now, right around that time, when I'm talking to Sinister One, I searched my email, but I couldn't find the exact dates of this. But there's another speedrunning thing that happened around this time, and it was called Speedrun Challenge or something like this. It involved Trihex and Pangea, and they did an event at Esports Arena in California. And I don't know if you saw that. I'll put the link in the show notes page. It was a good effort, right? It was speedrunning at the Esports Arena. Nice production values, great production values, great stuff. Just the format was just horrible. There was no weight to the proceedings. They were in charge of their commentary as well as the speedrunning, which means you can't do one or the other as good as you can, as good as possible, right? You want to have the runners care about running, the commentators care about commentating. You want both to be at a high level, right? So it was tough to tell what was going on, blah, 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 whatever. So anyways, I saw on Reddit, one of the organizers said, hey guys, check out our event. What do you guys think? We want some opinions from the speedrunning community. And I took it upon myself to give a full review, step-by-step breakdown of full review. Then they actually contacted me and said, okay, we want to talk to you a little bit more. So we set up a phone call for that. And they wanted to know exactly what I thought about the event, what was wrong with it, what I would have changed about it, and stuff like that. So on that call, I talked to them and say, same thing I just told you, what was kind of wrong with it. And I also added, I have this event that I'm kind of putting together, and this is what I think it'd be kind of would work at your place. So they were kind of excited by that idea. I don't think they really knew they didn't know who I was or anything, but they liked the idea, right? So they said, come back to us with a more detailed breakdown of how it would look, and then we'll be in touch, right? So I put that together, put a whole breakdown, not in detail, right? I didn't slave hours and hours on this, but I put a breakdown of how it would look at Esports Place. And I haven't got anything back from them since. I sent a check-in email probably 2 weeks after I sent that, but still nothing from them. So I think it's safe to say that ship has probably sailed. I probably waited a little bit too long because I think having it at Esports Arena would be pretty awesome, but they didn't write back, so there you go. Life goes on. I don't think a second check-in email would be prudent, but if you think otherwise, let me know. I want to hear your opinions to anyone out there, because I do want this to be a, work together to make this thing happen. So anyways, back to Sinister One kind of side of things. So his final suggestion at the end of that call was reach out to other events, kind of see what they think, right? See what they think about it. So throw out some feelers, right? So that's what I did at this point. Thanks to Eden All again, as you can see, his name comes up a lot, but he gave me the contact person at DreamHack. So I contacted DreamHack. I also contacted GDQ. Did not hear back from GDQ. No fault of them; they're busy, but no contact back from GDQ. DreamHack though did write back, and they said, "Hey, this sounds interesting. Let's talk on the phone about this." So I explained to him my idea in its entirety, and he's really excited about it. I mean, he might say that to everyone on the phone, but he's really pumped about the idea. Wow, that sounds awesome. Really great. However, in his opinion, it's a little bit too big for DreamHack at this point. He kind of reiterated how he thinks he definitely wants speedrunning to be a part of DreamHack in some way, but my idea is kind of too big for that, right? It's not really possible at this time, right? There's not enough money for the speedrunning side of things at this point, right? So then he said, well, can you come up with it in a different kind of way? Is there another way you could do it if following my parameters, right? And his parameters were, if I remember correctly, I should have brought the email, but I did. His parameters were multiple days, multiple games, and the same runners do the same game, and that was basically, I think that was basically it, the two I had to follow, right? So like the runners do kind of a gauntlet style, right? It's not like my idea, you get the top of the top and they play their game they're good at. He wanted kind of a gauntlet style. So you start with game A. If you on the top whatever game A, you go to game B, and then you go to game C, right? That's what he wanted. And we might not need to have main stage for that. That was the important thing, because I thought main stage would be important, but he said we might not have main stage. So what could I do with that? So then again, I went to my my source of advice for everything here in speedrunning, Eden All, and he helped a lot to come up with an idea that would maybe work. Now, I do want to say this is very different than my insane idea. It's not in the same realm of my insane idea. But it will be a local cool event for the people at the marathon, which is a good start, right? And let's not kid ourselves here. I've never done a speedrunning event, a gaming event in my life, right? So it's good for me to get experience as well, right? I've done events. I used to work in Japan as a teacher, so I did some teaching events where we'd set up booths and get different teaching kind of stuff set up. So I have done that side of things, but I know gaming is a whole different world. So this would be something new for me. So I accepted that I can't get my insane idea right out of the gate, but I still think it was worth pursuing because it would get, just myself out there more, put a cool event on, and I would have more experience for when my insane idea, a chance comes for that. So what was that idea, right? I might as well tell you, right, what I wrote back to him. So here's how it will work. On the floor of DreamHack, in one booth, there will be 4 NES set up, and there'll be a leaderboard so people can just walk up and take a shot at Mario, right? No pressure, no level, skill check, no anyone's available for that, right? You could have Darby in there, you could have me. That has, I beat the game many years ago, but I haven't beat it since then, right? Well, we would, of course, let the attendees know the game months in advance, as far as possible in advance as we could, right? So minimum a month, I said, but hopefully more. Then, they would, if anyone wanted to practice, they could, right? So anyways, the top 16, that would be all for day one, right? So day one of the event, there would be Mario booth with 4 TVs, how many TVs we have, and just people could take a shot at it. There'd be a time limit, or we could, those kind of details aren't decided yet, but there'd be a time limit or something like that to kind of make sure you don't stay there all day. But everyone have a few cracks at it to get the fastest time. Now, the fastest top 16 times would then move on to the next event. So all that day, how long a DreamHack is open for a day, people could walk up, take a shot at Mario, just for casual, for fun, whatever, or they could really go for, not the strats, not the flagpole skip strat or anything. If Darbian's there, that could happen, I guess. But just the normal Mario strats, warp, go to the warps, all that kind of stuff, right? So top 16 would go on to the next day. Now the next day would be another game. Where this game though it would be a little bit longer, and this would be streamed, right? So we would have 4 events that day, 4 runners each. So we got the top 16. We moved to 4 races of 4. So yeah, that would be randomly matched. And the game would be longer game, maybe take like an hour or so, but a game still everyone can beat, even if they don't have any kind of. It would still be a huge game, right? So everyone kind of knows the game, but a game that could be beaten at one sitting in 1 hour by anyone with kind of gaming skill. Hopefully, anyone that could beat Mario 1 in a quick amount of time. Also, we would give them kind of links to guide if they really wanted to get practice or whatever, so they know how to beat it. It's not like if you obviously already know how to beat it, you probably have an advantage. But if you don't know how to play it, we don't want anyone just to DQ. Like, I don't know this game, I'm out. So it's a very well known game, and the kind of whoever won their 4-player round would get to the final. Now, for possible games for day 2, I'm thinking Link to the Past, maybe Super Metroid, games that, like, if you know what you're doing, they don't take too long, and you can follow a guide if you have to. You know what I mean? So games like that would be a good one. Then once we get the 4 winners of day 2, we go to day 3. Now, I want this to be at the main stage, but it looks like that might not be possible. But this would be the epic four-way final. There you go. Again, game not decided. I think it has to be something kind of pretty hype there, something that pretty much a lot of people know. Now there's some ideas. We could do a mystery game. We could drop it on them at the end about how long it is, but I think that could lead to kind of bad feelings. I think it's better if we let them know this is the final game. If you want to practice it before the event, sure, if you get there. If you don't want to practice it, just YOLO, that's fine too. We'll have guides there, how to beat the game. Now, when you're playing, you can't look at the guide, right? But if you want, we'll give you the guides the night before, so you can kind of practice if you want to through the night or whatever, to get ready for the big final. And that would be it. That would be the prize support is unknown. If there's going to be a big prize, I would hope there's going to be some kind of prize, but again, it's unknown. But again, this is an event that's the goal of this event is to. Obviously, the day 2 and 3 would be streamed, by the way, so keep that in mind. But the goal of the event would be to make a lot of fun for the attendees of the event, right? That's the main audience. So day 1, we give people a little something to do at the event. Hey, I want to give Mario a shot. If you do it in the top 16 times, you move on in the cool tournament, right? And if you're just new to Mario, I haven't played Mario in a while, I'll give it a shot. Hey, you had a little fun at the event, that's cool too. Now the next day 2, it's more entertainment for that day, right? So there's 4 different races of a game that people can watch. That could be on Twitch or even at the event, just enjoying people racing a game. And then the final, of course, which I hope could be on the main stage, will be again streamed. This would be awesome commentary. And there'll be to a winner. Hopefully that'll have some hype. Now, again, this is definitely not my insane idea, but I think it could be an awesome, local thing that could get hype. Could be cool. Do I expect it to be the biggest thing on Twitch if that happened? No, definitely not. But I still think it could be cool and could be something enjoyable for people both in the speedrun community and people not in the speedrun community. They're just on Twitch and they see it on the front page and they say, hey, that looks pretty cool. And that's basically where. I guess I didn't say where it is at this point. So I sent that breakdown over to the guy DreamHack, and he said, hey, that looks good. I will get back to you when I know about the budget and stuff like that. And he asked where I'm going to fly out of and all that stuff. So that's where we are right now. I'm waiting for a response from a man at DreamHack to see if this is going to happen. Could be this summer. That'd be kind of early, but it could be this summer. It could be winter. It could be next year. You don't know. But that's where we are now. So my insane idea, we don't know yet when it's going to happen, but I could have my first experience with any event in speedrunning in not too long of a time. But don't worry, I'm not going to stop pushing for my insane idea. This is just a stepping stone, right? And if he comes back and says, well, it turns out the budget, it's not going to work. I'm not going to take that as, okay, my insane idea is done. I'll still keep the nose to the grindstone and find my next way to kind of get my insane idea closer to happening. Because as you know, I really want it to happen. And I know it takes work to make it happen, but I think it will happen someday, my friends. That's my goal to my Insane Pace listeners. The people that are listening all the way to the end here, you are really the people that the event will be for because you're awesome, because you listened all the way to my rambling for almost 20 minutes now. So that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. Next week, again, I want to reiterate, we will have a normal interview with an awesome person in the speedrunning community. And hope to see you there. And let's keep our fingers crossed that my insane idea happens in the future for sure. Stay tuned. I'm going to pick an awesome music track for you. If you listen this long, you deserve some kind of awesome gaming track. So stay tuned for that. And it's coming up right now. Hopefully it's fading in right now as I'm talking now. Enjoy this track that I'm going to choose in the future that I don't know what it is yet. Enjoy.